We also won't know specifically what's going to happen to Sam Darnold in 2025. Now, as of yesterday, there was a sense that maybe they were going to tag him, and that didn't sit well with me because I think that Kevin O'Connell is a man of his word. I think he's honorable. He does things the right way. It's one of the reasons why the players love him. When he tells us at the scouting combine, and we're not the only ones, it wasn't an exclusive. We didn't track down Marlon Brando, which really would be impressive if we could do that now. Kevin O'Connell was making the rounds, and he said on multiple shows, Sam Darnold has earned the right to become a free agent. You can't franchise tag the guy after you say that. You can't. If somebody else in the organization had said, sorry, Kevin, we're going to franchise tag him, Kevin's got every right to be pissed off because it makes him look like a liar if they do. So to no surprise, they're not going to tag him, or at least as of last night, it was kind of this fuzzy, mealy mouth, they don't plan to tag him, which means somebody could wake up today and say, screw it, tag him.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to go. I mean, do you think they were really thinking about tagging him? Again, I don't know here. I don't have inside info. Or did this just kind of come out, I don't know, through somebody talked to somebody, and I think, oh, maybe they're thinking about it. I just wonder how real this was altogether. And I know we discussed it yesterday, but it is one of those, like, going back to what you're saying with Kevin O'Connell. I don't think he's one that would, yes, he understands players are listening to him. He's not going to go back on his word that way. I just wonder how real this conversation is in Minnesota in the building. I don't know. Yeah.
One of the problems is, and this is something we discussed yesterday, there's a sense from the perspective of folks who are dealing with the Vikings that they don't know who's calling the shots. And I was texting with someone about this yesterday, not connected to football, but somebody who I know is a huge Vikings fan and is always, peppering me with questions. And when I made that point, the response was, well, maybe they're doing it strategically, so, it's part of a negotiating ploy, and you're keeping your opponent
off balance.
I don't get the impression that's it. I don't know who's calling the shots. And they don't know. The people dealing with him don't know who's, the hierarchy. Is it O'Connell in charge? Is it Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah in charge? Is it Andrew Miller? I've since been refreshed in my recollection of the name of the guy who replaced Kevin Warren. How involved are the Wilfs? Who's actually making that final say on we're tagging or not tagging Sam Darnold? But they'd still like to keep him. And Vikings, if you're listening, if you sign Sam Darnold to a deal that guarantees him 2 years, you better be ready to lose J.J. McCarthy. And I know you don't have to trade him, but you don't want your young potential franchise quarterback to be so pissed off that he's starting to rattle the cage to get out. You don't need that. He's not going to want to be there, I believe, if Sam Darnold is the quarterback for the next 2 years. J.J. does not want to sit for 3 years like Aaron Rodgers did and more recently Jordan Love did in Green Bay. He doesn't want to do that. And so if you're going to do it, you're accepting the risk. You're going to have a problem with your backup quarterback and your supposed quarterback of the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we talked about, stay true to what you believe. Yeah, yesterday we hit on this. They traded up a spot to get J.J. McCarthy. They really liked what they saw. I mean, Kevin O'Connell said in that interview, I mean, he was on an upward trajectory during training camp. It looked like to you and to me that I was going, oh, he's going to be the starter week 1. The way they played him, and I believe it was the first, maybe it was the second preseason game, and how it was structured, it gave me all the inklings like, oh, he's done well, and they're going to let him show off a little here and put up some stats so they could start to say, look how good he is. He's going to be our starter here. So stay true to that. And, again, Sam Darnold, really good football player. But I don't get the impression they're thinking like, oh, he's the long-term answer here forever. He's the franchise guy. So then again, move on. Go to J.J. McCarthy, who you thought could be the long-term answer. And I would think everything is still there in play other than just health. You got Daniel Jones as a backup, hopefully, to be Sam Darnold 2.0. But, yeah, I just think I look at it and go, I would think it's actually a little bit crazy if they brought Sam Darnold back. I don't expect that. And I do think, like to your point and what you're saying, it's going to cause more problems than be a good thing within the football team. And it's just going to be constantly talked about. And then if Sam Darnold is the starter and he has a bad preseason game or plays bad in preseason game number 2 or regular season game number 2, we're all going to be going, well, what about J.J. McCarthy? You drafted him at number 9. Do you think you're going to put him in soon? Is J.J. McCarthy ready? So that, to me, just does not mesh or seem like a Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah like type of move and what they would want to deal with all that crap.
And that's the difference between 25 and 24. In 2024, when J.J. McCarthy suffered the meniscus injury in the preseason opener, they opted for the repair. Now, we've seen players come back the same season when they suffer that kind of an injury during the regular season. It's about a 3-month injury to do the repair. You can do the trim, you get back quickly, but you've lost some of your cartilage, and cartilage is like money in a bank. Once you spend it, it's never coming back, and then you get to the point where you have to have the microfracture surgery, and nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
you want to have as much natural cartilage as possible in your knee. So when they shut him down for the entire year based upon an injury that, he could have been back in November, that removed from the conversation for the entire season any possibility of McCarthy supplanting Darnold. This year, got a little more pressure on Darnold. And Darnold knows how last year ended.
Right.
Look, to me, the chariot went straight back into pumpkin. I mean, if we're going to go fairy tales today, Lord of the Rings and nerdy fairy tale stuff, if we're going to go chariot into pumpkin, it was Week 18 in Detroit when it was the biggest game of his life and he got a case of the yips at the worst possible time. And he's not going to be able to forget that. And no one's going to let him forget it. And the fans are going to remember it because the moment they start seeing the yips in the 2025 regular season, they're going to be chanting for JJ.
Yes.
It's a much different vibe
Right.
for Sam Darnold. Last year, he had nothing to lose.
Exactly.
This year, he's got everything to lose.
Agreed. Everything to lose with a guy who's popular in that area of the country because of where he went to college. The last time the guy played in college, he was the quarterback of the #1 team in the country and a national champion, right? He's got the look of a superstar quarterback and a guy that you want to lead your franchise. He's got the attitude and charisma to go along with that. Go with what you believe in J.J. McCarthy and see what you got there. You said it right. I'm saying it right. I don't think it makes sense. And then from here, there's no way. I don't see the franchise tag happening. I'd be shocked if he's back in Minnesota. And now it's just about what's the best situation for Sam Darnold to go to hopefully get another crack at it, be the starter, play good football late in the year to where he could squash some of the stuff we're talking about, and then he can get a real big-time long-term deal, right? But he's not there yet. He's going to have to show one more year of, wait, I can play football at a really high level before he gets something long-term. I think that the best he gets a 2-year deal somewhere, right, Mike? I mean, that would be my estimation, right? And I certainly wouldn't be shocked if it's a 1-year deal for big money or good money, but not huge money, right?
Well, it could be a multi-year deal with an out after 1 year.
Exactly, like
with
a Geno Smith type of
guarantees.
deal.
Right.
Yes, exactly right. That's what I would imagine it's going to be. And then you get into, Mike, what do you think? I mean, what are the teams? I know we've discussed it, right? I mean, Steelers, Jets, Browns, Raiders,
Jets,
Titans, Colts.
He's going to the
Colts
Jets.
are a place.
He's going to the Jets.
Colts are a place where they say it's open for competition, right? And you still want Anthony Richardson to think he has a chance to start and not be like, that to me is one that makes sense. That would be good for everybody. Like Sam Darnold will go, hey, the offense is pretty good. This works here. Well, okay, I'm going to have to compete. And they can also go, wait, we're not bringing in Aaron Rodgers, so you're not definitely a backup Anthony Richardson. So you're going to be able to compete and maybe beat him out, but you're going to have to play some good football and bring your A game every day. I certainly could see that being a type of move for the Colts, too, in such a big year for Steichen and Chris Ballard.
The Raiders have been linked to Darnold. The Jets, you mentioned them. It was so bad for him with the Jets that I think the Giants can't bring him there.
Because
they play, right?
You're right.
Right?
You're right. He's got a bad stigma up here. I don't know if it would work. You're exactly right.
We've never seen that before, where a guy's association with the other team in town is so negative that you can't. Let's one of the back page of the
Geno kind of fell victim of that.
Look at the back page from the New York Daily News on Saturday after it came out that the Giants are serious about Aaron Rodgers. Say it ain't so, Joe. They don't want Joe Shane signing Aaron Rodgers and keeping that circus in town. So, Darnold will not be with the Jets, obviously, and probably not with the Giants. Steelers, Raiders, Colts, Titans. And
Browns, maybe. Browns.
He's going to have to prove it, I think, Chris, that he can do it without Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, right.
If he can do it without Kevin O'Connell, then somebody pays. I mean, he's still young. He's going to have plenty of bites at the apple. We'll see how it plays out. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.